This is the recap of the incredible nesting journey of Wilma and Fred, a sandhill crane pair that nested in northwest Colorado in the spring of 2022. In 2022, the crane nest camera focused on Sandhill Crane pair Wilma and Fred. Wilma and Fred settled into the same wetland as they did the previous year. On April 11, Wilma and Fred spent some time building a nest. On April 15th, the pair spent some time tweaking their newly built nest. Wilma laid the first egg on April 15th, and that night the first raccoon came too close to the nest. The second egg was laid on April 17th. The crane started incubating after the first egg was laid, but every few hours the parents would stand up to fix their feathers and tweak the nest. Sometimes Canada geese would come near the nest. This did not bother the cranes very much. On April 23, a snowstorm came and blanketed the area, but Wilma and Fred continued to incubate their eggs throughout the snowstorm. Mostly the cranes spent their time incubating their eggs. Sometimes at night, predators came to the nest, such as this mink that Wilma had to scare away. Sometimes raccoons came to the nest, and Wilma had to use her beak to deter them. Every few hours, the parents traded places on the nest, often adding material and tweaking the nest as they changed places. Sometimes Wilma and Fred slept while incubating, and sometimes they were very alert. Often Wilma and Fred spent time tweaking the nest and turning the eggs. The raccoons came back on numerous occasions to the nest, almost always at night. Wilma did a great job defending her nest against the raccoons. One night, Wilma was faced with a skunk that came to the nest. Luckily, the skunk backed away. Sometimes a pair of geese kept Wilma company at night. Wilma remained alert much of the night to watch for predators. Though sometimes the geese were not always welcome and came too close to the nest. Fred spent time incubating the nest during the day, while Wilma fed in nearby fields. One morning, a deer came too close to the nest, and Fred had to act. Often, Wilma and Fred added material to their nest as one of them left the nest and the other parent started incubating. There were several snowstorms while the cranes were incubating. This snowstorm occurred on May 4th. The frequent cows near the nest did not seem to bother Wilma and Fred. Sometimes Wilma and Fred unison called when changing places on the nest, especially as the eggs were closer to hatching. Even at night, Wilma would rotate the eggs in the nest every few hours. On May 7th, 3 raccoons ran past the nest, but Wilma successfully defended the nest. On May 8th, one of the eggs broke in the nest. Fred carried the broken eggshell out of the nest so it would not attract any predators. Wilma and Fred continued to incubate the remaining egg. It is not known how the egg broke. Raccoons continued to come near the nest. This time, Fred was the one that scared it off. Wilma and Fred continued incubating as hatching drew closer. The chick Pebbles hatched on May 17th while Fred was at the nest. The chick was already dry by mid-morning. Wilma removed the eggshell from the nest. Wilma and Fred stayed near the nest with the chick the day it hatched. The morning after Pebbles hatched, the family was still at the nest. But Wilma and Fred, with Pebbles in tow, quickly left the nest for a nearby field. Pebbles was only 1 day old. Thank you for joining Colorado Crane Conservation Coalition for Wilma and Fred's 2022 nesting season, as seen on our live stream crane nest camera.